Hello, world.
Good morning to Tech Talk Today, episode 248. Oh, we'll tell you more about that clip in a little bit. But no, instead we have news to get into. My name is Chris.
And I'm Angela.
Angela, 248 episodes of the Tech Talk Today program.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we got some big stories to cover today. We'll have a little WWDC stuff to get into, but just a few things that fell through the cracks. And we have some big news stories that are probably, no coincidence they are announced today. It's huge news. So let's bring in our Mumble Room to break it down first. Time appropriate greetings, Mumble Room.
Hello. Time appropriate greetings.
Hello, everybody. So you probably all heard the news that Microsoft has acquired LinkedIn.
What?
You didn't hear the news?
I didn't.
No, really?
26 billion. I heard about that.
Yeah, to the tune of $26.2 billion. Oh boy, an inclusive deal of cash. They're going to have its own brand, its own culture and independence, it says, in the Microsoft announcement. And Jeff Weiner will remain CEO.
Wait,
or Weiner.
who?
Weiner.
Okay, I was like...
Might be Wiener. I don't know. Either way, there's Sache posing between them now as if some sort of harbinger of things to come eventually. This is huge, though. This is huge. LinkedIn has grown like cray-cray recently.
I just don't know about Facebook owning Instagram and Microsoft owning Minecraft and now LinkedIn, just everywhere. Do we have to deal with these companies everywhere we go?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Our phones.
Yes.
And, jeez.
Yes, you do. Yes. Anybody in the Mumble Room have any good guesses as to why Microsoft might be interested in snatching up LinkedIn?
I don't know about that, but I think for LinkedIn, this is kind of a great thing.
Oh, yeah?
Because where were they going to go? I mean, this seems like the out move. This is what they needed to kind of cash out those top guys.
I can see that.
Because what platform were they going to build into? Where
Right.
were they going beyond what LinkedIn is as a core product?
Right.
I just don't see them expanding beyond where they are today. Besides, adding the next billion users or something.
Right, and there is always sort of a ceiling there because Facebook's taking care of a certain area of this, and you've even seen Google try to get in there with Google Plus without much success.
Oh my gosh. There was a guy in the shot room today that was just talking to another gal about photos. Photos is amazing. Just give Google your location. I mean, they know everything anyway. Totally
Google Photos?
hard selling this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
It was funny.
Google Photos is getting a lot of buzz. A lot of buzz. You're just sitting in the hospital and they're talking about
Not
it.
the hospital. It's
clinic?
It's a shot room. Yeah, it's a
The
clinic.
shot room sounds like a bar.
Yeah, I wish.
Give me another shot.
Yeah, right.
Rounds for everybody. All right. Well, I can reveal my cards. And do you have a guess as to why Microsoft would want to jump into the social business? Also, a reminder they have a 1 or 2% share in Facebook.
I would imagine that it is for employee acquisition purposes.
It is a
Better talent.
Yeah, a tire. What do they call those? A hire acquisition or something like. They have a term when you buy a company just for its staff. Mm-hmm. Well,
no, not just for its staff, not for the staff, but for the fact that those LinkedIn profiles would be available to them in an instant.
Oh, there you go, right there. I think you just cracked it. Yeah, in fact, we go to Mary Jo Foley over here. Mary Jo Foley, expert Microsoft writer.
Oh my God, I love this music.
She says that it's all about that data. That's what you're really saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft and LinkedIn have been building largely non-overlapping graphs of various kinds of data pertaining to business professionals. That's the real key to Microsoft's $26.2 billion LinkedIn deal. Think about it like this. They're going to have a perfect graph of corporate structures, who's worked where they've moved to, the different positions within companies. All of a sudden, they have just now gotten all of this data as one of their divisions. Just brilliantly snapped into and what does Microsoft make most of their money from? Business. This is brilliant, really.
So, who wants to, I wish I had a red book for Tech Talk today.
I know, right?
How long, then, before Microsoft acquires Monster?
Oh, interesting. Here's an interesting scenario that Microsoft shows as an example of potential integration, or Mary Jo Foley is calling this one out. Some of the potential scenarios officials are envisioning includes better information built into Microsoft CRM products, Office 365, and Cortana.
Into LinkedIn?
They could take here's Cortana saying, "Hi Jen, you have a meeting with Sam next. You and Sam both went to the University of Washington, and you both know Cindy Smith. Good news, the Huskies won last night's game." Here's your really pathetic, superficial small talk prep. Oh, it's so awful.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's got to be about the data. It's got to be about the data and making Clippy even better than before.
Hey, don't forget to Bing Suggest. There is a good title there with Microsoft being a monster.
Yeah. Also, think about this. Bing, too, could benefit from integrating LinkedIn data by being the best professional search. That's what Microsoft officials believe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That would enhance. Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know, this makes me so glad I never broke down and created a LinkedIn account. Like, I have so many. I guess I have them, and people are constantly asking me to validate them.
I know. It's so annoying.
I don't know what to do with it. I know. Okay, anybody in the Mumble Room, a LinkedIn fan, or find it has been a useful tool for them? Because I'm just not the right person to advocate for this. To me, it's just one more social network I don't need.
WWNSX?
Yeah, I've been going through a job search, and LinkedIn was just a source of spam for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it's been a way to connect to people I already know on a different network, and it's pretty much not useful for job searching at all. And now with this, I'm going to be going and asking them, hey, can you delete everything from your database and then delete my account? Because I'm trying to get as Microsoft free as I can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Microsoft is envious of Google for all of the, customer knowledge that they have out there, could Microsoft see this as a way to, hey, let's link this up with Cortana data or Bing data or whatever, so we have this more attractive set of people to shop around to advertisers.
And Sweetloo is sort of bouncing off that on the point of where was LinkedIn going to go. They just had that massive password database leaked that a lot of people have been using to hack accounts too. So they've had a lot of they were sort of back on the ropes already as this came about. It's a good point. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're ready to shift gears away from Microsoft. Today is really, I don't know, I mean, it's kind of funny the timing of this announcement, because today is WWDC. Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, the only really big conference they have left. A lot of things were announced, but I wanted to address this one first because you're an Apple Watch user. Are you still?
Of course.
Well, I think you're going to like a lot of the improvements to the watch, and specifically
to this one, right? Not the second version that I'd have to buy. Okay, good.
And I'll show you a couple things. So here's a couple things from their keynote, and then we'll talk about a few more that I think you're going to like.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning. I could not be more excited to have the opportunity to show you watchOS 3 today. I wake up to my favorite new face, just the girl I've been looking for. Now in watchOS 3, you have a place to keep all of your favorite apps. You choose which apps go in your dock, and you choose the order.
So a new launcher.
I can bring up my dock by pressing the side button.
So you press the side button.
I can swipe through my apps one at a time.
This is the new launcher.
Or lay my finger down on these dots at the bottom of the screen and fly through my dock to get to any app.
Seems better. Way better than the cloud thing,
apps
right?
In my dock are live. So I can get a quick glance at information without even launching an app, like how close I am to closing my activity rings. And the apps have been redesigned to put me within one tap of the thing I most want to do. Let's take a look at the timer app. One tap to launch it, and it's right there waiting for me. I can still set a custom timer if that's what I want to do, but the most common choices for a timer are right here on the screen. So with one tap, I can set a 10-minute timer and get right back to what I was doing. Even my favorite apps from the App Store can be in my dock, like Sweat with Kayla and Lyft, and they are lightning fast too. Let's take a look. With one tap, I can call a car.
Now, one of the other things that they have, so the apps are a lot faster. One of the other things I think that you're going to like that they introduced is social sharing for the watch, fitness tracking. So now you can share your fitness activity with your friends and family, and you can compare their walking goals with your walking goals.
Oh, you can now?
Yeah, that's another feature they're introducing.
Because that's one thing that I really didn't like not having when I switched from Fitbit to this, is because it feels so lonely. I hit my goal for 126 days. Who do I share that with,
Mm-hmm. And then they have some new 911 SOS type features built in. So anyways, I thought you'd probably like that, the faster apps, stuff
Definitely,
like that.
Because even just checking my exercise circles and stuff, it's like 3 taps, which it doesn't sound like a lot. And obviously, #first world problem, but it is kind of annoying.
All right, well, this is one I think that this is something they needed to respond to. You were just talking about this one.
The big news in photos this year is advanced computer vision.
So this is a response to Google Photos.
Advanced deep learning techniques to bring facial recognition to the iPhone. And it's all done locally on device, taking advantage of the power of the advanced silicon in all of our iOS devices. You can get all of your most important people automatically built into people albums for you automatically, and all done with your privacy protected. Now, we're applying the same kind of technology with deep learning to object and scene recognition as well. In fact, we do 11 billion computations per photo to be able to detect things like there's a horse, there's water, there's a mountain, and with this, you can do really powerful searching on your device.
So
okay,
what do you think of that?
All right, so I'm going to nickname him Eyebrows. This would
That's
have
Craig
been
Federighi.
This would have been
The Chevrolet Volt is unlike any other electric car.
There you go. Did you know that about the Volt? They just autoplayed another video.
Okay. Anyway, this would have been really handy to know because that guy in the shot room was sitting there saying,
Yeah.
you know, I can look for my grandson's name, John,
Right.
and Beach,
Right.
and it shows all that. And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, that's definitely better than anything.
I was just saying on Dakota Radio, the thing I like about it is my photos are super valuable and important to me,
Yeah.
but I never sit down and organize them ever.
Right.
And so the fact that I can just say Grandma hugging, or Marianne hugging Dylan or something like
Yeah.
that, I can say these different things in an
Right.
automatic. That is really nice, but it does mean turning over so much information to Google because it's not just when people talk about it, they talk about, well, it's got your location information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing. They're also doing facial recognitions of every person in that photo. They're looking at where you're
Objects
taking that,
and
and they're literally building your real social graph. They know who your family members are. They know they can know
Right.
the whole home structure by analyzing these photos. Where they're taking out at the time they're taking it just adds additional information, but it's just the beginning of the information they get. So the fact that this is done on device locally using your iPhone or iPad's processor or your Mac, because it also works for photos for the
way
Mac.
more secure. Yeah, because in the shot room, I was like, well, iPhoto does facial recognition,
But it kind of sucks.
It does suck. But so this is really great.
Yeah. What do you think, though, Mumble Room? Can this be as good as Google's machine-learned deep learning cloud that is going to have input from users all over the world, and they're already well into this ballgame? And in the cloud, you can throw a lot more processing power at this. So is this going to be good enough?
I honestly don't think so, considering that Google has a head start and they have their customized processors for this. So they're playing catch up right now.
Yeah, huge head start. Google has a huge head start.
But now, so that was attractive to you on the Google side.
Mm-hmm.
But would an Apple user that was using Google Photos now switch back to just using the Apple?
Maybe,
product?
because see, part of this is iCloud is also supposed to be, I don't really necessarily agree with this concept, but iCloud is also a photo storage mechanism. So iCloud is the backup part, where Photos is also offering backup. I don't know. The really nice thing about Photos is it's cross-platform. It's Android and iOS,
Right.
which is very valuable for me.
Yes.
Yeah, when I had my iPhone, I used Google Photos simply because I knew I might go back to Android and would want my photos over there. And I figured it would just be easier for cross-platform.
I like the dramatic music behind William. That's
right.
cool. That's nice. Yeah, exactly. And it's you can share them online very easily. You can generate URLs for them and all kinds of stuff. But I think here's what I do like about Apple's approach. I'm glad somebody at a large scale with a huge user base is trying this, and they're trying to do it in a way that respects your privacy, in theory.
Yeah.
So those things I do like about it. Okay, let's just wrap up our Apple stuff. 2 more quick announcements. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but you guys can find information all over the place. There's just a few other things we wanted to cover that maybe aren't getting as much discussion. The one that is probably getting the most right now is Mac OS 10 is being renamed to Mac OS, just Mac OS, lowercase Mac.
It's a good idea.
They're introducing Siri to Mac OS.
So about 5 years from now, Windows won't be numbered anymore either.
Yeah, probably. What do you think about Siri and Mac OS there? You ever use that? You don't use Siri on your...
I have made a commitment last week to try to start doing it, and every time I open Google to type something, I'm like, I should have used Siri, but I haven't yet, but I will.
Can use, you know what, you should really use the reminders.
I'm constantly
and
Googling.
notes.
Yeah, probably.
Hey Shlomo, take a note. Or, hey Gizmo, when I get home, remind me to.
I know.
That kind of stuff. Because the other thing is you could trigger it from your watch really easily.
Yeah.
You just do it. Anyways, this is the big story from WWDC that wasn't actually announced. And those of you that have listened to me rant on the live streams a few times know I'm really, really excited about this feature. Apple has introduced. What is that? What are you doing?
Know.
What are you doing? Why are you?
Every
time you reach down there, it makes that noise.
Yeah.
Stop reaching down there.
Well, I reached down there to try to stop the noise. So I was trying to figure out what the noise was. Sorry.
All right. So Apple is introducing a brand new file system. They're getting rid of HFS Plus, and they're introducing a copy on write file system designed for flash storage.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, it could
Great.
be. Yeah.
Yet another copy on write file system.
I know. It's probably not even
It's not sufficiently tested, probably.
Well, they're gonna test it at scale because it's meant for iOS and Macs. Yeah, they're gonna test it. The only way this could be great, right, is if it's forked off an already mature code base.
I guess it's feasible. It could be ZFS under the covers.
But don't you think they'd be saying something, right? It sounds.
You'd think.
The way that it's written, it sounds like it's an in-house invention.
Probably is.
Because they specifically targeted having all of the feature sets that HFS Plus has today.
So it's going to be REFS, but for Apple.
Yeah. And so it's going to be available in OS 10.12, or Mac OS 10.12, I should say, which will be out in beta soon. And you can create it using the distUtil command. So it looks like it won't even be available in the GUIs yet. But that, replacing HFS, that's been coming since the 80s. So there you go. That's our quick roundup of the Apple news. I thought, we should probably, I don't know, anybody else in the Mum Room have anything else that was announced at WWDC that you think is worth mentioning here in the show or we're talking about? New iOS features, new alerts, looked pretty nice. I think as an iOS user, Andrew, I think you're going to really like the new update, especially when you get the SE. I think you'll really like it.
I'm excited for that.
And the Siri integration on the Mac, I think it's probably going to be as relevant as Cortana. Now, this is great. I love it when you have an existing piece of hardware and it gets new features, like the watch,
right?
I
can't wait. I saw what webpage you have up.
Yeah, I am really happy. So Plex has announced that they've worked with NVIDIA to update the NVIDIA Shield. And the NVIDIA Shield TV, I think, is one of the best set-top boxes out there. It's you can get it at different prices, depending on what you get it with. But the Shield is just a super powerful Android TV set-top box honestly.
Is it a Roku alternative?
Yeah, but it makes the Roku look like it's from the 90s. It's because it's super crazy fast. It's got a ton of great apps. It has a really good hardware base for things like Kodi and Plex to just work perfectly. However, in my situation, where I live up in the boondocks, I have the worst case scenario for internet connectivity for streaming Plex videos. Because Plex, it's sort of dumb on how it handles scaling. You can just go in there and pre-select a bitrate and it'll scale it down to that bitrate. But there's no dynamic scaling. So as my connection improves or degrades as I'm watching a show, Plex doesn't respond to that. YouTube does, right? And there's really no way around this other than going to local media for Plex. And that's why I'm really excited that Plex and NVIDIA are working together to get a local Plex server now on the NVIDIA Shield. So what I think is one of the best Android TV and set-top boxes, I think it's great for cord cutters out there, like members of our audience that want to watch JB content, YouTube content, and other online like Netflix and Hulu and all this stuff that's online now. It's, I think, the best set-top box out there. You can get one with a 500 gigabyte drive built in. And now Plex will be able to use that internal storage or an external USB storage and set up its own local Plex server. So now in Lady Jupiter, I'll be able to have my own local Plex installation and not have to be streaming from the studio or your house or all over the place that always cuts out all the time.
Right.
So that's great. Built right into the Shield. That combined with Kodi, which is already on the Shield, is fantastic.
So in case you guys use Plex or you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. And we actually have our own app. It's a Jupiter Broadcasting app. You can just have it right up there with the top apps that you use. Yeah. Plex is
and the Shield handles HD content like a champ, and because it has plenty of memory and a fast processor, it's solid at like pre-buffering. So JB content is butter smooth. Like it'll pull down the HD file and pre-buffer it, so you don't have it skipping during the whole playback because it's got a nice amount of memory. It is a good experience. So I'm really happy that NVIDIA is announcing and Plex. Also, just a couple other nice things about the NVIDIA Shield. If you get the Pro version, you get a 500 gig drive, and also it supports 4K video at 60 frames a second. I don't think there's many set-top boxes right now that do that. It's also going to have full hardware decoding for Plex playback, and because it has that crazy powerful NVIDIA Tegra X1 processor in it, which I've been super impressed by. So anyways, that's my quick review and plug for the new NVIDIA Shield update that's coming soon. I think it's great. And you can get one with a game controller. Do you remember the handheld NVIDIA Shield that we had that the kids could play on all the time? It's the same concept, only it's a TV. It's a more powerful TV version, and they took that controller and they make a separate controller for the TV version, so you can. So it also is like a game console because
That's cool.
So I have DuckTales on there for the kids, and I have the Nintendo emulator, and they just love it.
That's genius. Does Roku make a controller like that? Because
I don't know.
They make you use the wand. You know,
Yeah,
like
it
the kids
sucks.
play Angry Birds. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is really dumb.
Yeah, this is a full legit, like, it's an Xbox 360 style controller. It's really nice. So there you go. Big news for us Shield users. There's only a handful of us out there. That's why one of the reasons I'm talking about it, because I kind of want to advocate the NVIDIA Shield because I don't want them to kill it. Because I think one of the tricks to making a really good set-top box is having a really powerful computer. And when you build it yourself, it can get big and loud. It honestly feels like I have a Core i7 computer hooked up to my TV, and it's just this little, quiet, thin, fanless NVIDIA Shield. And like we went out to Padilla Bay with the kids on Saturday, and
Are you sure it's Padilla or is it Padilla?
I think it's Padilla.
Huh.
And on the way back, we had the NVIDIA Shield going and the TV going, and the kids were watching Harry Potter as we're driving down the road.
Yeah.
And the thing's solid state, so it can bounce around and it doesn't get
Nice.
affected. And I just think it's really cool. All right, Mama, any thoughts on NVIDIA Shield or your favorite TV set-top box? Since I just loved all over mine. I know Ange likes the Roku.
I do.
Yeah, and it's worked really solid for a long time at a crazy great price point. And you can't argue with that remote that has the built-in headphone jack.
That and app where it can sense all the Rokus on your network. Like we have I have
And
three.
on the phone, it just boop, 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 puts them all right there.
So when Abby,
the kids lose the remote.
Abby brings the remote into the playroom and nobody can find it, I can just use my phone. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
We're starting to see more of these boxes where I'm thinking between Roku 4 and NVIDIA Shield, real 4K might actually be a thing by the end of this year.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point too, Sweet Lou. Or no, it's Tanish. One of the advantages of NVIDIA Shield is it's also a Chromecast. So all the functionality you get from a Chromecast from a more powerful box, and so all of my apps on my Android device support Chromecast basically. So I find something on YouTube and I can send it there. And VLC is adding Chromecast support. But what's really kind of neat, what's also kind of a neat social experience, is when people are here at the studio, we have a Chromecast hooked up to the TV here, and everybody has their phones, iPhones and Android phones, sits around the TV, and different people can add YouTube videos to a shared playlist queue on the TV.
Oh, cool.
So you guys got to see this video, and then the next person adds it, and so you just have basically everybody adding their own YouTube videos to the playlist, and it's really fun. And the NVIDIA Shield supports that too, so you don't have to have a separate Chromecast, which is kind of nice. I think it's a great combo, and I would never have. I just never ever would have thought I'd be sitting here saying run Android on your TV. That doesn't sound like something I was ever going to say, right?
Yeah, no.
That doesn't. Yeah. All right, so moving on. Guess what? We haven't gotten rid of it yet. We haven't killed it yet, even though I'm sounding the alarm. That's right. It's time for our Kick It Kickstarter of the week. And Angela found one with a bit of a mommy vibe to it.
Yeah.
It's called the Octopus with 1,162 backers. They have a goal of 50,000, but they've raised 117,000 with 38 days left to go. What is Octopus? Cue the hipster Kickstarter music, and they'll explain it to you.
Meet Octopus, the first icon-based watch that teaches kids good habits and the concept of time.
All right.
One, it's a watch that young kids can read and understand. 2, it's a scheduler that fosters responsibility, independence, and self-esteem. 3, it's an assistant that helps parents to prioritize their expectations and stay consistent with daily routines. No more power struggles. Enjoy family life and focus on what really matters. Octopus, the training wheels for good habits.
So I got
thoughts. One boy, he's about 3.5 years old. Getting to
All right, so well, you guys, if you want to watch the interviews, you can watch the rest of the video. So Octopus, Ange, the first icon-based watch that teaches kids good habits and the concept of time. It's a watch, it's a scheduler, and it's an assistant. Created by Joy.
Okay, so one thing that the video showed but didn't really mention is that you can manage the to-do list from an iPhone or from a device. I mean, any device, iOS or Android. And when the kids do the task and they press that button, it sends the parent the notification that it was done.
There's a small glimpse of that in the video. Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah, but it wasn't. And
it's not clear.
People that are listening don't know.
Yep.
So,
Absolutes.
Anyway, it's interesting.
Price is pretty good. One watch, $99.
Originally, I thought it might be kind of cool, but I feel like it's going to train them to be hyper focused on that.
Yeah.
It's going to create a lot of OCD and even though it actually says that it's meant to help kids with ADHD and other kind of potential learning disabilities. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I have some concerns, but I mean I kind of like the idea. I like that they use pictures. But then again, there's a glimpse of idiocracy in here. We're not going to let them read. Obviously, 3-year-olds can't read, but still, it's just, What do you think, Mumble Room?
I don't know. I think it would be better if the kid was more independent, I guess. I feel like they could be too dependent on the watch.
So, I've read a study, and it was a long time ago, and so I'm not going to try to pretend like I have it memorized, but then I saw a headline 7 months ago that basically reasserted everything I read in the study. And what it essentially said is, as an evolutionary safeguard, the human mind, when it feels safe to outsource information, like it doesn't have to rely on retaining that information, it will do so. And when there's information that it cannot feel safe, it will retain it. And when I think about this, a good example that I think of is I couldn't tell you the IP address of the server here at the studio. Don't know, don't need to know, never need to know the IP address. But I could tell you the IP address of the DNS server I worked on 15 years ago at Arlington School District.
Right.
I have that memorized still
right.
because there was no central database I could put it in. DNS wasn't as big, and I had to manually configure DNS all the time, so I memorized IP addresses. And I still have their whole IP scheme memorized in my head. I know we're on a 192.168.0 here, but I don't know what any of the machine's IPs are. I don't ever have to anymore. Same thing when I know I can Google it.
Yeah.
Or when I know I can say, hey, what was that place we went to with the kids that had the burger that and you can say, oh, it was this place. I just outsource. What I worry about is this is training that behavior, which, if the study is correct, is actually an evolutionary behavior. It is training them to outsource all kinds of stuff to technology immediately, which seems like in a very formative age to be doing that too. And it also is sort of, there are very, got to get it done, got to track it, got to make sure it's marked off on the list, aspects of it that feel like too much. Like I don't want to expose that to my kids until...
a prisoner to the thing. So I have had with my Apple Watch, I have had a 126-day streak of meeting all 3 of my exercise goals.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Saturday night. I know. And it's important to me.
Yeah.
So my life has been, okay, I'm going to get a shot and I can't be active for 4 hours. So I'm going to walk the Centennial Trail before I get my shot, get my exercise in, get my steps in so I don't have to worry about it later. It's constantly on my mind. And Saturday night when Chris had the kids, I went and saw a movie, but before the movie, I walked for 28 minutes in the parking lot. I only got 8 active minutes from that, and I only had 8 before.
Do you go in and activate?
Yeah, I did. An outside
That's,
walk.
by the way, way easier than the new WatchOS.
But my heart rate didn't go up enough to count all the minutes.
Getting too fit?
No, I just wasn't walking fast enough. But anyway, the long story long, for the first time in 126 days,
you broke your streak.
I'm free. I'm not cursed anymore.
Oh, you broke it and now you're free.
So for the last 2 days,
going lazy.
F all the goals. F all all of them. I'm not getting my Perfect June award now. I'm not going to get my, 127 or 128 day streak.
This month.
Like, done.
Just go on vacay for the month of June.
It's really interesting to be forced, and I was forced to, like, with my Fitbit, with stopping that, I was forced to not have, like, that 10,000 step goal because on the watch it's based on calorie burn and stuff, not steps.
Isn't it weird how it does get in your head?
It is. It does. And I would be afraid for our kids if we got them this watch.
Even people like Hadia, who are like, that would never get to me. Yesterday, when we got home from Linux Action Show, she went on a jog. Because she was so close to hitting her goal that she's like, well, I got to get my heart rate up and go hit. So she went on a jog. Like, but like fast forward a few months ago, because I'm letting her borrow my Apple Watch since I'm not wearing it right now. Try it. Try the fitness tracking because she's up all day doing acupuncture stuff. And so I thought, boy, she blows through the stand goal. Like that's like no problem. But every now and then she doesn't hit those activity. And before she had the activity tracking, she never cared. We would go on a walk just to go on a walk. Yeah. But now it's like that's the deciding factor. We're going to go on that walk now. In some ways, I don't actually think that's a bad thing either.
No, it's not. No, and that's how I'm maintaining my weight too, which is important.
And for me, I sleep better when I walk. Yeah. So it's like, but I'm not always motivated to do it, especially if I'm exhausted. Like today, I've been on the air since 9:30 a.m. I'm not going to really feel like going for a walk after this, but it would be better for me if I did.
Yep. I got out of the movie, right? Sitting for 2 hours. I watched The Jungle Book. It was really cool.
Is it like for kids or is it like an adult Jungle Book?
It could be for kids. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just did something weird on my laptop. Anyway, so I looked at my watch and it was 25 seconds to midnight. Mm-hmm. It was like a freaking fairy tale. I was about to turn into a pumpkin. It was Cinderella. I was like, oh, my heart sank, my stomach sank.
I'm not gonna make it.
I just lost my streak. And I watched as the second hand hit the 12. And I was so angry.
You're never up at midnight either.
I was so angry. And the next day, I was like, I'm free. I'm reading this book series. It's all about demons and stuff. So it was just kind of great. It was a good experience, and apparently, good commentary for this particular Tech Talk today. So
I find it most likely the devices like this for kids, because I could see
routine is good for kids. Routine is good, but this is like to the nth degree not okay.
Here's where, of course, the price points are good. They look like very durable products with very limited feature scopes that would make them simple. But at the same time, I think to myself, fast forward 2 years from now, and we're going to have second generation Android Wear and Apple Watch and Pebbles. Mm-hmm. We already have 2 or 3 generations of Pebble Watches now. Those are just going to become hand-me-downs to kids. And it would be more about just targeting whatever those platforms happen to be the most common hand-me-down. It doesn't really need to be its own separate thing run by the Joy company.
Yeah, well, the thing about this one is the charger base, it's a magnet. Right, it magnetizes to
that's nice.
A nightlight.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like a little ghost-looking thing.
Yeah, I did see. That's what that. I saw a picture. In fact, they use that little ghost thing.
And you have to buy that. So, like when you said $99, I don't think that includes the charging base.
So that ghost thing is all over the place. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool
because the current Apple Watch charger and like the Huawei charger is just. The Apple one isn't too bad, but some of the other chargers are so fiddly.
Also, a Redbook prediction. I guarantee that Apple's going to come out with something like this.
For kids?
To pair with the parents' Apple Watch.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I've been surprised that a few parents have bought their young kids Apple Watches.
Right. I was thinking about that on the way here. Like, it's way too expensive.
And way too easy to destroy.
Yeah. Or leave. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's not even happening.
I don't really know what the point is.
Like, we haven't even quite got to the point of giving Dylan at 7 a cell phone. And he's asking for one.
And we feel like we're behind the times because it's like my friends at school have them, and we're like, no.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
So is this yet another Kickstarter of the week that even with the parental angle, we are not going to say back?
Yeah.
Really? Anybody in the mumble room want to say we should back it before we declare it a loser? Because, I mean, that's just... No. Okay.
Well, Chris, how functional is it? Because one issue that I've run.
No, go ahead.
I didn't mean it.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
No, I noticed with my nieces and nephews that we tried to give them like the Fisher Price phone to play with.
Yeah.
And they saw right through it. Like,
yes.
No, I don't want this piece of crap. I want the real thing.
Our kids absolutely would too. Absolutely would too. In fact, I was told this weekend by Dylan that the next iPad we get that should be new. and that he shouldn't get a used one because that's not fair. He always gets the hand-me-downs. It's his turn to get the next iPad.
Sounds like you. He is. It is so scary how he is.
I move out of the house and you end up with a younger version of me.
No. He was already a younger version of you. But I mean, it is scary to me.
Yeah. Although every now and then he just goes full kid and he goes off into a kid tirade that's like, okay, that's uniquely kid. But yeah, that whole premise he had. He's got an argument for a phone.
You know what he did the other day?
What?
He had a sheet of homework. Well, okay, so he said, "I don't have to turn in this homework, Mom." And I'm like, "What homework?" And he pulled it out of the recycle bin. And I'm like, okay, sit down and do this homework. But she said I didn't have to turn it in. You're going to do it. I already know it. Well, then it shouldn't be that hard. He wrote down the number 11 for every single one of the equations.
Oh, man. That is something I would have done.
So you're going to erase all of that, and you're actually going to do it.
That is so me. Man. He has the ability to do it, but he just doesn't want to.
And he writes like you, too.
He feels like homework is stupid.
Yes. It's going to be a struggle, because I loved homework. I love getting it done. I love doing it.
And some sort of reward system.
I'm going to have to, yeah. Second grade is going to be rough for him.
You know how I reward myself?
How?
Stickers. Yep, at jupiterbroadcasting.com/stickers.
I am not ready for this. Oh my gosh.
Did you not? You didn't even know I was going to bring this in you, did you?
I'm looking at it. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So I've been working with Aaron Heimer. Shout out to Heimer16.
Yeah.
I made the PayPal buttons and provided him the sticker thingies, and he made jupiterbroadcasting.com/stickers. Now, there are 10 on there. No, 9 on there right now.
Okay.
8 shows and 1 Jupiter Broadcasting.
Okay. I like if you got a laptop, you need to put this on there. The laptops are such a great canvas for this. Or also the smartphone case. You usually could fit a Jupiter Broadcasting or TechSnap sticker on there. Mm-hmm. So these are cool. $4.01.
Yes.
So okay. we're not going to make any money on
I
this.
did that. Well, yeah. So okay, I was going to talk to you about presenting this to the patrons first.
Hold on, I'm going to mute you. Hold on. Cut her off.
To get their input on the price. Just okay. So the stickers cost about $1 each, right? So that's very transparent. It's about $1 each. They're very high quality. And then there's the envelope, the time to stuff it, and the postage. And
so we're doing it by hand to save money.
Yeah.
So that's
so I'm doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the 401, it's 401 because I can capture it in QuickBooks as a sticker sale and label it as such, so that I can pay our wonderful B&O tax on it and not have a problem if we get IRS audited. So anyway, that explains the price.
I think if you figure your time to hand package and seal up every single one of these orders and ship them out, and the fact that I know at least some of these are like vinyl stickers.
They all are.
Yeah, so
they're all from the same place.
These are super high quality stickers. We love these stickers.
Yep, and I'll be adding more. The PayPal, they only allow you to do like 10 total. So I'm going to do another batch, and that will be like Noah switched me to Linux and Linux Fest Northwest 2016 and whatever other special kind of ones that I have in my
If we could crank them out, it'd be great. Like we were at Self this weekend, it'd be great. Or PSD
I know. This is early process. I think I'm going to print a report once a week and then mail them out. I'll probably send an email I think most PayPal there's an email address provided.
Usually.
It's this new. So anyway, if you want a sticker, that's a place you can get them now.
Yeah, and show us if you guys like this by picking some up. So that way we don't go and invest a bunch of time and then not have it go anywhere.
I figured if anything, like if we are quote making money on these stickers at this price, that if you're not a donator or or not subscribed to Patreon, this is another way to give back and get something in return.
And decorate your gear too. The stickers go great everywhere, and we've made efforts to make them look clean and classy as well.
Sticker licker Angela.
Speaking of Patreon, patreon.com/today is where you go to help support the entire network. We just wrapped up 10 years of the Linux Action Show. I don't know where the next 10 years, who knows? I can't ever guess where the next year is going to take us.
Wow.
But I would love to see I would love to see crowdfunding be the main source for Jupiter Broadcasting's income in the future. I don't know how we're going to get there, but it's with your help. Patreon.com/today is where we're going to make that transition one day, and where we need your help. And right now, we have some new benefits for our supporters that are pretty cool. like I just mentioned, the 10th anniversary of LAS. Well, if you've been a Linux Action Show fan for a while and you're supporting us on Patreon, because you know we're good for it. We deliver. I mean, that is one thing you can say about JB is we try to deliver every single week, and we try to make sure every show is damn good. And if you've enjoyed that, if you're all about that and want to keep us going, patreon.com/today. When you get access to that feed, as being a patron, $3 or more, you'll get access to all of the behind-the-scenes videos we've posted of the complete live streams. The 10th anniversary of LAS is another example where you have the whole thing.
Yep.
And there's a couple of moments that we just don't make it in the main show. And those are in those are captured. Also, the pre and post shows are in there. It's just a little something. We're still evolving that system too because it's new. Personally, though, we're still a ways off. But our next milestone, I need to update the verbiage because our studio's not really new anymore. But that camera is the original camera that we've gone on the air with. And so this weekend, Noah was in the studio shooting a segment.
Oh boy!
And he brought
every time Noah comes.
I know he brought in his camera, and he put it in front of that camera. So it was I could actually see our old camera versus a brand new camera side by side comparison in the studio with the studio lights and everything, and the blacks and everything were so much better on Noah's. I was like, I really would like to replace get the graphics. I don't know what we go to next. I haven't even begun researching, but if we get closer to our next milestone, I'm going to start that process.
Yeah, well, I think it says it on there. The camera. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's the next milestone.
Goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we are a distance from it, but as it starts to get closer, I'll start doing the research. I would love to eventually maybe even go to 4K, not to put out 4K video today, but to be able to do some really nice, clean-looking close-up shots when we double in on some of the shots in the studio and stuff. Anyways, we could do a whole shows about that in the future. But if you want to support the network, if you like what we've been doing, want to invest in us, got a little value from us. We also have a new cord cutter level. If you're a cord cutter and want to see JB continue as part of your content consumption, we'd appreciate that. Patreon.com/today. And go check out that last live feed there. That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
It was cool to be able to have Noah in studio too. And I also posted just recently the full live stream of Linux Unplugged. And just as an experiment recently, I posted Tech Talk Today. So you guys can check those out at patreon.com/today. Also, show notes for everything we've talked about today are linked at the JB website. Just go look for episode 248 of the Tech Talk Today program. And if you want to submit content and feedback, techtalktoday.reddit.com is where you go to engage in our community there. Andrews, is there anything else we need to cover before we get out of here for the day?
Nope.
Wow. Well, that concludes the broadcast day for me then. Mm-hmm. We'll be back tomorrow with Tech Talk Today, which is, or not Tech Talk, with Linux Unplugged, which is another Mumble show, which is where I was going. So if you've been able to join us for Tech Talk, we'd love to have you join us in Mumble too. So let's just check all that at the calendar, jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. And I leave you now with a vintage 60s commercial. We had commercials sort of like this, but they weren't quite as in your face, so bonk bonk on the head when Ange and I were kids. So this is a little bit before our time, but it's still an American classic. See you next week.
Signal 6432, hike. Time out.
Attaboy, Fury.
Gee, does that look good?
Boy, am I thirsty.
This will get you back on your feet again, Pete. Borden's Milk, the all-American drink.
Ah, just what I need. Borden's Milk is packed so full of power that just watching it pour makes me raring to go.
Sure tastes good.
That's a great picker-upper, too.
That's why big football players drink Borden's. It's a milk with the muscles in it.
Say, let's try that play again.
Come on, Packy. Hang on to it, Pete. Over here. Throw it.
Catch it, Joey. Touchdown. You kids can score, too, with Borden's Milk. The all-American drink. The best tasting milk in town. Make sure your mom keeps plenty on hand for you.
Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Buy Borden's today.